I think I feel the scale picture.
She's afraid that she's going to fall down. She's not going to fall nowhere. She's good.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. I see a lot of familiar faces in spite of the masks. I know that our students finish their classes at 7, so they may trickle in. But I'm going to make this introduction very quick, or as quick as I can. Welcome. Come on in and find seats. I'm really excited to see all of you. We haven't had a lot of in-person events, and this is fantastic. So it says here, welcome everyone. Ahlan wa sahlan, bruchim habayim. Thank you for joining us this evening for what promises to be a riveting performance by the acclaimed multimedia artist, television, film, and theater actress and director, Raida Adon. Hey, Raida. Raida was born into a multi-faith Palestinian family in the binational city of Akko in Israel. She currently lives and works in Tel Aviv, Jaffa, always in between cultures, languages, but belonging to all of them and to none of them. We're thrilled to have Raida here in Waltham. My name is Ganita Nkori. I am the Henry and Lois Foster Director and Chief Curator of the Rose Art Museum and Professor of Fine Arts and Women's Gender and Sexuality Studies at Brandeis University. And after I say my title, I need to get some air. On a more personal note, more than 2 decades ago, Raida created her very first video art piece. It was titled Fasatin. She was still a student at Bezalel Academy of Art and Design. I had just begun to teach at the Hebrew University. Both were located in Jerusalem, El-Quds, Yerushalayim. And we met, and we began a dialogue, and it continues today, wherever we go, even in Boston. But before we begin, I'd like to read a statement on behalf of the entire Rose team. And I want to give a round of applause to my team, the Rose team, who made all of this possible. Can you guys raise your hands or something? They built this stage. I mean, they did a lot. So the Rose Art Museum resides on the ancestral homelands of the Massachusetts people. We recognize that the very existence of the museum has been facilitated by the violent dispossession, enslavement, and dispersal of multiple indigenous communities and individuals, including the nearby Nipmuc and Wampanoag tribes. The Rose team commits to actively learn from, respect, and amplify Native voices. This land acknowledgement is a living document, a work in progress, and it is only one aspect of the diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility plan and commitment that we have made as part of our ongoing efforts to reimagine our museum as an anti-racist, anti-colonial, diverse, and inclusive nexus for art, communities, and justice. So let's take a moment to let it sink in. Thank you. So this evening we welcome you to a live performance titled Me and My Soul by Raida Adon. The performance is closely related to the solo exhibition on view at the Rose Art Museum titled DisplaceD, Raida Adon's Strangeness. This evening is also the culmination of Raida's residency on campus. The last few days have been filled with inspiring conversations and generous interactions between Raida and our students, faculty, and the community at large. Assisting Raida this evening is Yara Nirael, in back on the computer. Yara designed the video based on Raida's drawings, and thank you, Yara and Raida, both for coming. After the 18-minute performance, Raida and I will talk a bit about her creative process, her sources of inspiration, and her recent responses to the COVID pandemic. Our conversation will be followed by your questions, and we may cut it short just so we can accommodate your questions. And there will also be catalogs and masks that Raida designed for sale outside. All the catalogs have been signed. Please remember to turn off or silence your cell phones. You may do so now if you need a chance to check them out. Please, no flash photography. You're welcome to take pictures. Also videos if you want, but no flash. We don't want anyone falling off this stage. And I want to acknowledge that the performance and exhibition were generously supported by artists, by Jolie Schwab and David Hodes, by the Schusterman Center for Israel Studies, the Department of Fine Arts, and I see representatives here, so thank you, thank you. The Edie and Lou Wasserman Fund, and the Brandeis Network of Arab Students, BNAS, who spent all evening last night with us. Thank you, everyone. Within the performance, you will find motifs that connect Adon's videos and drawings. Many conjure up dreams, childhood memories, experiences of displacement, violence, and never-ending journeys in search of a home or just a safe haven. Though certainly impacted by the realities of our broken world, Adon's art also displays her creative imagination and as a way of coping with trauma and loneliness, teaching us once again that art and the imagination and the individual can often be pathways to liberation and hope. So, without further ado, kindly join me in welcoming the magnificent, my friend, a wonderful artist, Raida Adon.
كلما أنظر إلى نفسي أشعر بأنني أصبحت غريبة عن نفسي. من أنت؟ لست متأكدة بأنني أراك. أنت هنا في النهار وتختفي في الليل. تعيشين حياة تختلف عن حياتي. لقد أصبحت غريبة عن نفسي وجسدي. هل العمر يشوه رؤيتي؟ أصبحت لا أعرفك. هل أنت أنا؟ أم أنك كذبة مخبأة داخل عقلي وجسدي؟ أحلق معك ومن ثم نختفي الواحدة عن الأخرى، ثم أعود وتعودي أنت معي. أنا لا أعرف اسمك ولا حتى ملامحك ولا أسمع صوتك، ومع ذلك فأنت تعيشين وتتنفسين بداخلي. أنت أنا. أشعر بأنني أحاول أن أتخيأك وأن أفترق عنك. من أنت؟ ولكنني أعلم أنه ليس بإمكاننا أن ننفصل، ودائما أعود إليك. أعود إلى ثقب أسود في داخلي. פעם, כשהסתכלתי על עצמי, אני מרגישה שהפכתי להיות זרה לעצמי. מי את? אני לא בטוחה שאני רואה אותך. את כאן במהלך היום, ונעלמת בלילה. חיה חיים שונים מחיי. הפכתי להיות זרה מעצמי ומגופי. האם הגיל מעוות את ראייתי? אני כבר לא מכירה אותך. האם את היא אני עצמי? או שאת שקר שחבוי במוחי ובגופי? אני עפה איתך, ואז שתינו נעלמות אחת מהשנייה, וכשאני חוזרת, את חוזרת איתי. אני מנסה להקיא אותך מתוכי, אבל אני יודעת שאיננו יכולות להיפרד, ואני לא שומעת את קולך, ולמרות זאת, את נושמת וחיה בתוכי. את היא אני, ואני את. תמיד חזרתי אלייך כנועה. חוזרת אלייך לתוך חור שחור שנמצא בתוך גופי, ובתוכו אני נכנסת לתוך ריקנות, ושם אני הולכת לאיבוד. הרוח מתחילה ללחוש באוזניי, ומספרת לי בלחש שקט על זיכרונות הילדות שלי. לפעמים אני מנסה לחבקך, אבל את נעלמת לי כמו הרוח.
Another round of applause for Raida. So we have a few slides and a few questions, but I am going to do it quickly, even though we can talk here for hours, because I'm sure you have questions too. But before we start, I thought I would read part of the translation. Raida asked me to share with you some of the things she said, both in Arabic and in Hebrew. She was talking about the doubled self, me and my soul, the other woman who is me. And part of what she's written in the past is, in my dream, I get out of my body to meet the woman in me, only to find out we are but two facets of one and the same. Who are you? Every time I look at myself, I feel as if I have become a stranger. And in another section, she says, you are here during the day, and you vanish at night. Are you me myself? I don't recognize you anymore. And another key part is quiet whispers of my childhood memories. I hear your silence like the wind. So just sharing some of the poetry that's embedded in this. So I thought we would start by talking about the relationship between the drawings and your art. Your drawings have become recently an independent work of art, and we'll see that at the end. But from the beginning, you used drawings to create a storyboard. And this is the film, the 33-minute film that's at the Rose now, Strangeness. And this is one of the drawings. Maybe we can see a few more, Yara, please? Do you want to talk about your process? I know that's a question that a lot of the students wanted to ask you about.
הדרך שאני... I will talk in Hebrew, because in English it's my third language, and because I'm so professional, I don't let myself make mistake in one of my words. So if you can translate me,
if I make a mistake,
I will be so happy.
I will try, I will do my best, Raida.
Yeah. אז הדרך שלי זה קודם כל להיות עם עצמי הרבה ולשאול את עצמי שאלות.
My way is first and foremost to be with myself alone a lot and to ask myself a lot of questions.
כי יש אנשים מאוד פוחדים להיות עם עצמם. אני לא פוחדת להיות עם עצמי.
Some people are afraid to just be by themselves. I don't have that fear.
ואז אני מציירת את כל הציורים האלה, את כל מה שאני מרגישה, וכשציירתי את זה, הרגשתי שאני מאוד זרה מהכל.
So then she draws all these feelings and thoughts that she has inside, and she feels strange from everything.
והחלטתי לבנות בית משלי, שהוא ממזוודה, כי אין לי מקום יציב.
So she decided to build a home for herself that is actually a suitcase because she doesn't have a stable place.
והמזוודה, כמובן, היא הבית שלי, רק שהבית שלי הוא מאוד קטן ואני מאוד מאוד גדולה שם.
So the suitcase is her home, but it's very small and she's gigantic there. If we could have the next slide, we see one of the sources of influence, Elizabeth Zaplaot, Alice in Wonderland.
כן, אני יוצרת הרבה, אני מאוד אוהבת סיפורים של ילדים ותוכניות של ילדים, כי הדמיון שם הוא לא נעצר, הוא מאוד רחב.
She loves fairy tales and children's stories because the imagination there is endless. It doesn't stop. Can we have the next slide, please? So we brought a few of the images that relate to the performance, and I wanted to ask you about this motif of the doubled self, the leaving your body, feeling that you're split in half.
אני חושבת לגדול כפלסטינית ולגדול גם בעוד שפה ותרבות אחרת שהיא עברית, אני משנה זהויות כל הזמן. הגוף שלי משתנה גם.
To grow up as a Palestinian within an Israeli community with different languages, she feels like her identity constantly shifts and her body also changes.
אז אני מרגישה שיכול להיות שזה מאוד מאוד השפיע עליי בלי אפילו מודעות.
So even without not being conscious of it, it's, I would say, the way she's wired, but she said that's the way it is.
אבל גם...
My husband is in the audience, so if I make a mistake, could you correct me? Everything is perfect. Thank you. See, we have a good marriage.
אז יש לי גם את החלומות שלי, כי אני כל הזמן חולמת שאני שתיים, ושאני יוצאת מהגוף שלי, וזה חלום שהוא חזר וחזר וחזר.
So this is a recurring dream, dreaming that she is doubled, that she is two, dreaming that she has this out-of-body experience.
ובהתחלה זה היה מפחיד, אחר כך אני התחלתי ליהנות מזה.
She used to be afraid of it and then she started enjoying it.
עכשיו, גם העניין זה שהיה שלד מתחת למיטה וצבא, זה לאו דווקא כאילו, אני חושבת שכולנו פוחדים ממוות, ואנחנו פשוט לא רוצים לדבר על זה.
So part of the imagery is death. Part of it has to do with military attacks and violence. She thinks that we're all afraid of death. We just don't talk about it a lot.
עכשיו בווידאו ארט הם ראו חיילים. החיילים הם בלי זהות. אין שם זהות של חייל שהוא שייך למדינה מסוימת, אבל כולנו יודעים שזה חיילים, ושמתי חיילים, כי אני חושבת שכולנו פוחדים ממלחמה.
So in the video, they're soldiers, but they don't have a specific identity, so you can't identify as specific soldiers, because we're all afraid of war, regardless who the soldiers or the aggressors are. I wonder if we can move to the next one. So these are the texts, but we can move forward. And this is one of from the storyboard for Strangeness, where you see the suitcase is like a pillow, and the ruined city is also a motif that recurs. And then the next one. And I wanted to bring up some of the sources that Raida used for, this is the drawing. And these are some of the images from the video. This is a still from the video. And maybe you can tell us about this photograph that you saw and triggered a lot of this.
I saw it in Google.
She found it through Google.
זה תמונה של אנשים שהזכירו לי משפחה פלסטינית, ככה חשבתי.
So she saw this photograph of displaced people, and they reminded her of a Palestinian family. That's what she thought.
וקראתי שהאנשים האלה עזבו את הבתים שלהם, לקחו את המפתח, הבטיחו להם לחזור לבתים שלהם, והם לא חזרו, כי מתו מרעב ומחלה.
So she read about these specific people who were expelled from their homes. They took the key. They were promised they would be able to come back, but they left and then they perished either through disease or hunger.
ואז בסוף קראתי שהם יהודים שגורשו מנווה צדק ותל אביב.
And then she read that they were Jews who were expelled from Neve Tzedek, which is a neighborhood near Tel Aviv,
על ידי העות'מאנים.
by the Ottomans. So,
וזה, לי זה נגע בי כי הרגשתי שאנחנו כבני אדם מגרשים אחד את השני. אנחנו במין מעגל, מי שחזק מגרש את החלש.
so she felt like as human beings we're in this cycle. Whoever is strong just displaces the weaker person, and then it's an endless cycle.
לכן הרגשתי שזה שאני פלסטינית, זה לא אומר שאני צריכה לדבר רק על הכאב הפלסטיני. לכן עשיתי את העבודה שלי זרות, כי אני חושבת הרבה מאיתנו יש לו אותו רגש, אותו פחד. הפחדים שלי הם פחדים של כל אדם.
So the fact that she is a Palestinian doesn't mean she can't empathize and express human feelings. And if we could have the next slide, you'll see some of the other source material. This is from the video, Strangeness. And these are two, might be familiar, more familiar than the previous photograph. The Nakba, Palestinian refugees. If I'm not mistaken, these are from Ramle and Lud in August of 1948. And these are more recent. These are Syrian
Now we can see Ukrainian.
refugees.
כאילו אפשר להוסיף גם את האוקראינים עכשיו, כי הם אותו דבר.
She said we can add the Ukrainians now because there's this thing that's ongoing.
אז
כן.
אז אני מדברת על הכאב בכללי ולא מדברת, יש את הכאב האישי שלי כמובן כאומנית, אבל אני יכולה לראות גם את הכאב של האחר ולתת לאחרים כשהם רואים את הוידאו, להזדהות עם זה ולהרגיש שזה גם הכאב שלהם.
So she says that she has her own pain, but as an artist she can feel other people's pain and express it, and then when they see it, they also feel her pain, and I think empathy, empatia, is the word that we can use. Yeah. Can we have the next slide? So when COVID hit, it did not know national boundaries, and Raida was in quarantine like everyone else, and if we could have the drawings, she started to draw her quarantine diaries, Yomenei Bidud, that were not for a storyboard, but there are a lot of motifs that recur. You like to talk about this one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
אני דמיינתי, כשישבנו כולנו בבתים והכל היה סגור, דמיינתי שהקירות נופלים.
So when everyone was in their homes, everything was closed, she imagined that the walls just tumbled down.
ומאחורי הקירות רציתי לדעת מה קורה עם אנשים בפנים.
And I wanted to see what's happening behind the walls with all the people.
ואז אנחנו רואים פה אדם קורא ספר, אנשים עושים אהבה, מישהי מתאבדת, זוגות רבים אחד עם השני.
So we see someone reading, couple making love, someone hanging herself. I just saw that for the first time, excuse me. I need a moment. People fighting.
והקומה התחתונה, זה אנשים מסתכלים על האלימות שיש שם, ואף אחד לא עושה כלום.
So the first floor, people are just looking out and they see this terrible, violent scene. Bless you. And, you know, no one is doing anything to help anyone else.
כי אני חושבת שזה המצב של העולם היום. אנחנו לא עושים כלום, אנחנו רק מסתכלים.
She thinks that's the situation with the world today. People look, but they don't really lift a finger to help.
לכן, בעבודת הוידאו ארט שלי זרות, אני נתתי לאנשים להסתכל לתוך המצלמה כאילו שהם מסתכלים עליכם.
That's why the video, Strangeness, you see all the people, and I'm not saying actors because most of them are not actors. But they all look straight at you so that there's that human connection.
כדי להגיד להם מה אתם עשיתם. אתם מסתכלים על כל מה שקורה, אבל אף אחד לא עוזר.
So it's a way of them saying to you or to us, the audience, look at what is happening. What are you doing about it? So we have one last slide, and I think we'll keep it up. And Raida, I think we should open it up to questions from the audience. We have 2 roving mics. I can continue with my translation services. I see Jessie has a question.
Hello.
You can introduce yourself if you wish to.
Hi, my name is Jessica Shear. First, thank you so much. That was wonderful. I wanted to ask you about the role that the ocean plays in your work. Obviously, when you were at the sea in your performance, that gave you a lot of joy. And also, I won't spoil it in case you haven't seen Strangeness. You should totally see it. It's amazing.
Should have seen it if they haven't.
Oh, it's so good. But the sea plays an important role in the film as well. So I was wondering if you could just speak a little bit about your relationship with the sea.
היחס שלך לים,
וואו.
שהראתה פה, שזה נתן לך המון שמחה כשהיה ים, פתאום נהיית ילדה.
כן.
וזה הסצנה האחרונה בזרות.
כן,
וגם
הים.
באישה ללא בית.
כן. אני נולדתי בעכו, נולדתי ממש מול הים.
She was born in Akko, or Accra, that's a city right on the Mediterranean Sea. Her house is right near the sea.
אני אוהבת מים מאוד,
She loves water.
ואני לא יכולה להתעורר בבוקר בלי מים.
Can't wake up in the morning without water.
ואני חושבת שהים של עכו הוא מאוד מאוד השפיע עליי. מצד אחד הוא יפה מאוד, והוא גורם באמת לרוגע ושמחה.
So the ocean, it's a sea. The sea in in Akko, influenced her a lot. It brings serenity.
בו זמנית,
At the
לים
same time,
יש גלים, והגלים הם כמו הנפש שלי. אני לפעמים משנה דמויות, זהויות, כי אנחנו כולנו חיים בהרבה זהויות.
so the sea also has these waves that go up and down and billow, and it's like her soul, and that she changes and modifies, and her identity changes and shifts because she has many identities.
כי אני חושבת, כולנו חושבים פה שאנחנו יש לנו זהות אחת, אבל כולנו משנים זהויות, כי אנחנו בבית מתנהגים אחרת, בעבודה אחרת, עם הילדים אחרת. אנחנו כל הזמן עם שינוי זהויות, רק שאנחנו לא מודעים לזה.
She says that we all think we have one identity at work, at home, but Raida, these are people who think about intersectional identities, don't they? Okay. Yes, many identities.
Yeah.
I see it.
שלום, שמי איתן, נעים מאוד. אז אני עכשיו בשיעור עם פרופסור...
In English, please, okay?
Yeah. I'm right now in a class with Professor Sobel, and we watched a couple of your videos, and I was just wondering why the motif, all of this with the black dresses. It's something we talked about in class, but couldn't really get a pinpoint on.
The black dresses, השמלות השחורות, חוזרים לפסטין.
כן, וואו, פסטין. פסטין, it was my first video art. כשהייתי סטודנטית, עדיין שנה ראשונה בירושלים,
When she was a first-year student in Jerusalem,
הייתי עוברת באוטובוס והיה כפר ערבי למטה.
she would take the bus to Jerusalem, and on the left side in the Wadi, there is a village, Lifta.
והכפר, הכפר היה שקט, והרגשתי שאני שומעת שם את הקולות של האנשים ושל הרוח.
So the village was quiet, there was a lot of wind, and she felt that she could hear people's voices in the wind.
וכך הרגשתי שאני צריכה לשים שמלות שחורות, ושחורות כי זה אבל, בתוך הבתים בליפתא, ושהרוח הוא זה שיזיז את השמלות כדי שהם ידברו.
So she felt that she wanted to put these empty, I'm going to embellish a little bit, empty dresses, black dresses of mourning in actually all over this village that was depopulated, and let the wind kind of move them around, so almost like ghosts.
והשמלות היו דומים מאוד לבתים, כי הבתים היו ריקים, והשמלות היו ריקים מאדם.
So the dresses were very similar to the houses because the houses were empty, and the dresses were disembodied.
ויש לי קטע עם דברים מאוד 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 ארוכים.
She has a thing for very, very long things. You can look at Raida's website, raidaadon.com, And you can look at video art and see a clip from Fasatin from 2001, which is this video that we're talking about. You can also see clips from other video art pieces. And you must come to the Rose anytime until July 24th to see Strangeness. Little plug there. Other questions? It's your opportunity. She's not here every day. I see a question over there. Yay.
Hi there.
Hi.
Your performance was amazing.
Thank you.
And I was curious about some of the artists that influenced you.
רצית? כן, אומנים שהשפיעו עלייך.
וואו, כאילו, קשה לי להגיד את זה, אם יש אומנים שהשפיעו עליי. אני מושפעת מאנשים דווקא.
She says she's influenced by people, not necessarily by artists.
לא ממש אמנים או אמניות, אלא פשוט יש אנשים שהם לא מדברים הרבה, הם יותר מסקרנים אותי. ואז אני מתחילה לדמיין דברים.
So she's intrigued by people who don't say a lot, who are silent, and then she starts imagining them.
ואני חייבת לציין, אין לי סטודיו, לכן הסטודיו שלי זה בחוץ, זה כשאני בין האנשים, כשאני שומעת אותם, כשאני רואה אותם.
So she doesn't have a studio, and she gets her ideas when she is outside among people, listening to them, seeing them.
בדיוק.
בדיוק, בזבת. She said exactly, yes. There's a question right there.
Hi, thank you so much for your performance. I was wondering what the process was for you to decide to become a video artist out of all the mediums that are available to make art. Why was that one spoke to you the most?
אני באתי לבצלאל ללמוד כשיש לי הרבה ציורים.
She came to study at Bezalel Art School when she had a lot of paintings.
ואז גיליתי את הוידאו ארט, אני לא יכולה להגיד שגיליתי את המצלמה, כי אני שחקנית.
She discovered video art, not the camera, because she's an actress. And a little plug, latest role in The Girl from Oslo on Netflix, starting episode 2. You'll see Raida Adon.
Yeah, no one recognizes me because always I'm with a hijab. So I'm different now.
So, תמשיכי על הוידאו.
אני חושבת בגלל שאני שחקנית, וכשאני שחקנית יש מישהו שמניע אותי, מישהו שהוא אומר לי מה להגיד, נותן לי טקסט בפה, מעצב את הדמות שלי. אבל כשאני מאחורי המצלמה, אני זאת ששולטת, אני מעצבת כל דמות ודמות. לכן אני גם לא לוקחת שחקנים, אני לוקחת אנשים פשוטים מהשוק. ויש אנשים נורקומנים שאני לוקחת אותם.
Okay. So when she's an actress, when she acts, she is directed by someone. She's provided a script. People tell her what the role entails, and the protagonist should be this or that. When she actually, she loves making video art because she controls every single scene, every single figure, every single aspect. מה שכחתי?
אני מעצבת את הבגדים.
Oh, she designs the clothes.
אני מעצבת את התפאורה.
She designs the scenery.
אני מביאה את האנשים.
She brings people, and that's what I forgot, people who are not actors, but for example, in one of the first videos, it was the town people from Akko. It was Coral. It was her niece.
Yeah.
It was one of her dance teachers who's very well known in Israel. So it's always, some people we recognize, some people are family, and some people are just from the market.
אז כמעט אני עושה את הכל בווידאו ארט שלי. זה הילד שלי שאני מולידה אותו לחיים.
It's her child that she brings into this world. It is world making, isn't it? זה לברות עולם.
Yeah. Yeah.
World making. And it's a world that relates to our world, but also imagines different options, right?
Yeah. אני אמרתי לך שהדמיון הוא נותן לי, הוא מציל אותי מכל מיני דברים.
So Raida said to me a few nights ago, as we were unraveling, that her imagination really saves her from many, many things. And maybe that's your home.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that we can call it a night. Another round of applause.